Muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, muchas gracias for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, time, and the love and support everyone that stands my way. From the heart, I appreciate every one of you. Also, for liking, sharing, subscribing, and hyping the video. Gracias. Well, everyone, at this one, I do want to touch on what I've been asked numerous of times, right? I'm trying to circle around to what I've been asked. I haven't written down, so I haven't forgot. But a while back, I asked a few times if I can pretty much paint the difference of a riot, for example, in Califas or in the Feds, and one in Mexico when it comes to us. So this would be a two-part thing. I want to start off with Califas. Califas is pretty cutthroat, right? It's all about respeto. You carry yourself with respect. When you're called on, you handle business with honor and respect. And when you know something's wrong and there's too much going around about the fussing about it, you squash it by saying, it's done, I'll deal with it. Let's just forget about it, right? And Califas is mostly always about dope. It's never about something serious. There is those cases where, a camarada comes and he has a gabacho's paperwork or a brother's paperwork or vice versa, and it has to get dealt with. You hear a lot about raza in general can tell on another race, and I don't know where you guys get that fantasy from, but I'll tell you one thing. I know a lot of homies that picked up life defending the paperwork of a brother stating that Avato walking amongst our program was a snitch. So, if what you're trying to say is they go to court and they snitch, everyone does that. Every race, every neighborhood has them in them. That don't mean that I'm programmed inside with us. But anyways, allow me to put a little bit of an event with the story, right? I remember we're in Ironwood and we're in the hole. In the hole, what would you say? There was two hudas that were willing to work with me, right, on anything. But all I ever asked for was, hey, bring some tequila here and there and some popoca, some tobacco, right? which it was odd to them because they had action to Negra and other things, but I felt being in the hole, it was a perfect time for a detox, right? To all camaradas. And anyways, within time there was a wood. He was a Nazi, right? We'll just call him B. He was cool as hell. You know, we went out to one of the, they weren't concrete, they were fenced in yards, and they went to the next one, right? So he was feeding us, but he was hitting black back there. You know, and I already knew it was gonna bring chaos, right? Cause you know, I could have been like, hey, tráeme un poco de eso and shut him down, but it just wasn't in me, right? To spread that amongst camaradas when we should be recovering from whatever lies ahead for us, right? Anyways, this vato did them 50 papers like a 30 paper. No lies. Stingy. Bad material. And the complaints started piling up, right? I went out to yard and I used to tell the camaradas, look, I don't mess with this back here because this ain't the spot. We don't even come out to the same group yard together. So what am I gonna do? Start hitting camaradas for buying from the gabachos and at the same time start being burned by them? So from here on out, you know what you're buying. I don't want to hear it. You know, you want popoca? I don't sell popoca. There's tobacco there. Once in a while, there's a bottle comes in, and even if we all just take a drink, we drink together, right? But there is no fine, no price for it. It's amongst camaradas. You decide to go off and do your thing, then I don't want to hear it. You know, I'm back here to to uphold the program, and you don't want to write with what I state because it's more important for you to feel that rush as firmes. We're all camaradas back here. Every single one of us, though, is going to answer up at one point or another. You know, as things kept unfolding, things got worse. Dudes started taking their stores. It started making them look like straight dolphins for a paper that it wasn't even a 20 paper, I'll be honest. You know, whenever I did something on the yard, I try to be fair. I said it before, every cuartito you bought off me, I made sure you got 5 fat papers from it. You made your cuartito and you came up on one, right? And that's how I always was. You bought from me. You weren't buying a pedazo in 36 grams. I was giving you 38. I always try to do that extra, right? For one, I ain't used to me ain't really mean nothing, right? And anyways, when they showed me the last paper that fool was pushing through, and I swear to you, wasn't even half of a papel I would give for 50, right? Not even close. So I held on to it, and I did hit him up and told him, "What's this? You're starting to abuse our gente. Spread your hustle, homeboy. There's other races back here. Why only raza? No, they're the ones that reach out and boom." I told him, "Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. This is a 50 paper according to you, right? I want to send a CO with $50 second team, and I want to send you your thing back. None of us want it. You don't want to be in our hit list. Don't ever sell to a Mexican again back here. You do, that individual and yourself have something coming. No butter ribs, no more discussions about it, right?" I said the same to the camarada. The camarada slowed down, right? Except for one individual, which he didn't really matter, right? He was from Madera, I believe, and he just ran the tab, then he locked it up, right? And I guess this fool felt he had more pull than the next man, right? I was nobody. I was just following orders, trying to keep the gente together, right? And he's the one that started reaching out to camaradas. I was receiving them appeals. And that's why I always say time's one's best friend. I was saving them as the one I had sent them in the beginning. Time came where we all have to get out the hole. And home we went to see yard. I went back to A yard, right? And right when before we went to C yard, there was this paisano that he was trustworthy a lot, right? Grew up in Huntington Park, but he just never got made in a neighborhood, right? He was a BB, and I told him, "Look, this fool just in this stay back here, he did the homies wrong with a couple $1,000. But here's everything, just present it to the individual and let them deal with it, right?" Yeah, no hay pedo. I'll be honest with you, this paisano, he became one of my little bow wows. He was a fool. He was a straight fool from Nayarit. You know, he went in, he presented the case, everything. When push came to shove, he just, hey, just don't make a bigger buzz. Todo está bien, like the carnal said, yeah, I got it next yard. And Aguila ambushed that fool. He came back and that fool was asking for explanations. Everybody knew he was on the shine. The only thing I asked Aguila, I told you, fool, to program. Like, what is program? You know, I get high. I don't do it ever in the hole, but I do it on the main line with the scandalous individual like that. He has to bounce. So, anyways, after that, me and Aguila, we pulled 2 missions together. And it was because one was a paisano and another one had to do with misunderstanding with the paisano, right? So we did them together, which I would touch on. But when we got out, the woods were mad. Mainly the skinheads, right? They were upset that we didn't give them the what's going on or what's this. We just moved on one of their own. So we explained real briefly. There was this knucklehead, right? And he said that don't give you a right to put hands on a wood. Well, you look at it like that. I look at it that don't give you wood the right to take advantage of the raza back there, right? And he said, nah, but it ain't like that. We could work it out through, we ain't working nothing out. You know, you either leave it alone or you lace up and vámonos. When? Now. And he thought about it for a second. I just told the camarada, vámonos. And a big old riot started to the point where it reached certain names, you know, in the back, and it got clipped in the butt. It was over. But that's how a typical riot works in California. It's always because of somebody with a big mouth, mainly a big mouth, right? Oh, I got $100,000, just front me and I got you. It's always dope money, thinking your money's gonna carry you above the program. And you will see the difference between how Mexico riot works. So with this said, I hope I made sense. Stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones, everyone. Buenas noches.